Hello and welcome to my video review of the Rainbird in-ground sprinkler with Click and Go Hose Connect. So I received this product as part of a Home Depot review product through their seeds program, and I'm actually going to be using it for my garden over here, flower garden in front of my house. You can see from our 90-degree weather with very little rain, the lilies are pretty much wilted to death, just about, but they're still survivable. And then I also had some new plants. Unfortunately, I got a black cat that's been roaming the neighborhood and eating my plants before I could get them potted. But that's minor issue. The big thing is that my plants desperately need water. So what I'm using is the in-ground sprinkler over here. And I've actually gone through the calibration of it, but I'll be able to show you that as well before I actually put it in the ground or even after. Either way you can modify it, it's not difficult. The benefit to calibrating before you put it in the ground though is that there is some parts that are a little bit difficult to manipulate while the sprinkler is running. And so what I did was I did it while it wasn't in the ground, and when it was running, put my hand inside the sprinkler housing to prevent it from going back to a closed state after I removed the hose, and then kept my hand in there to lift it back out of that housing so that I can manipulate this diffuser screw. The reason being because when you get the product, it is completely opened up for maximum distance. Not exactly helpful for my case because I'm on a small quarter-acre lot. I don't have to go very far to reach all my plants. But if you do have a larger yard, then hey, great, you're already set to go. What I do have here, you can see, is I have a normal hand spade, and I have it's sort of like a hand spade, but an automated one, sort of. This is what I use for planting my plants, but as it so happens, it is just about the perfect size for digging the hole for this part. You can see it's just about the same dimensions. So that's basically going to be my cheater method. You just stick it in the ground, twist it, pull it out, and release the dirt. Much easier than using a foot shovel like they say to use in the directions. One thing that I do have to caution against is allowing your instructions and everything to be anywhere near the sprinkler. I made that mistake. I thought having it about 15-20 feet away by the house, away from where the plants were that I'm trying to water, would be sufficient, but it wasn't, because it was, as I said, fully unlocked for maximum distance, and there's a spring-loaded part inside there that you use to narrow the arc and the arc is the rotation arc. That spring was actually flipped up so that it had full rotation, and it continued to actually spray over here. So my instructions got a little soaked. I'm just using this anti-bird thing to keep the pages down flat on my dry perma step while it dries out. Yeah, so without further ado, I'm going to come over here, and what I actually did after I got it calibrated and lined up properly how I want, which is actually, there's basically a round spring going around it inside that housing, and it basically has wings sort of coming off it on four sides, basically like a rectangle. Two of those sides are narrow, two of those sides are wide. And what I did is I used the narrow one on this side, and I've got that little spring thing which hangs down, and so basically it bounces back and forth between those. That's how I'm controlling the arc and the direction of the sprinkler action. If you want it going in a different direction, you just flip the spring up, allow it to travel between another set, flip it down, and it'll be trapped between those and go back and forth. If you want to do full rotation 360, then you just leave the spring flipped up and it won't hit any of those four wings that come off that spring. Pretty easy. As I said, there is a diffuser which is literally just a plastic set screw with a pointy tip. And what happens is, as you rotate that to the right, the screw goes further into the path of the water. So the small part of the tip hits that water spray first to start diffusing the water, and it's not really diffusing it as in lowering the pressure or making it a water spray. What it does is it's just interfering with the stream, deflecting it, which is sort of, I guess, diffusing, but not really how I would think it. So as you, of course, put that further, rotate that screw further in, it will deflect more and more of that stream to make it splatter, as opposed to just shoot out unencumbered. One thing I do wish, though, is that they had made that more of just like a little slider piece or something that you could just more easily slide in and out and then just lock down. That would have been a lot more helpful and easier to manipulate than a wet plastic screw while it's running. So maybe a future tip for Rainbird, to make their product more user friendly, especially since someone like me, I've basically got a reduced range of motion and feeling in my hands, just because of the years of abuse on them, doing different types of jobs. So someone who's old, who's senior citizen, may have more difficulty and may not be able to actually grip that screw. They may need like pliers or something, which would be really awkward while the sprinkler is running to do that. So yeah, little flip up thing to lock it, slide it in and out with a piece that gets narrow and fatter at the at different sides would, I think, be a much better solution. So yeah, that's my recommendation. What we're going to do is we're going to start with basically making a little dent like that. You can see the dent in my grass, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just set this right here, and I'm going to set my camera to view what I'm doing here as best I can. I apologize for if it's not perfect, but basically you just go in, rotate this around, get into the grass, and I just go all the way until the top of my cutter tool is level with the top of the ground. May get a little difficult, especially, like I said, we've had a lot of dry weather, 90-degree weather with little rain, so that's making my ground a little hard to cut into, but with a little more effort I've gotten it loose, and you'll be able to see it pops right out like that. I do need a little bit more, though, because the base of this sprinkler head is wider than this device here. So what I'm gonna do is, now this is where I could also use this hand spade tool to do this. It would work either way, but the reason why I'm going to continue using this is because this is not the full length of the full height of the sprinkler head housing. The housing is probably about like up to here, so I basically need to make it twice as tall as what this cutter is. But I'm going to go ahead and cut around like this, and basically take some small half moons going around that initial circle. And then what I will do once I get that done is I will take my hand spade and I will mark the position of the click and go housing section on the dirt, and I will do the same thing, basically just cutting around the circle, dig down, and I will measure on my hand spade. I'll measure it against the click and go housing, which right now shows me it's about 5 inches deep is what it requires to be flush with the surface of the ground. So 5 inches, about right here. So You know, I just look at, okay, I got like stainless steel marked on here. I have to go to the S. So if I go to that S there on my depth, go around in a circle, boom, I'm done. Set it down on the ground. All I need is a small little channel for the hose connecting the click and go housing to the sprinkler head housing. So I'm going to use this again for that, so I don't have to dig up this huge swath of dirt like they showed them doing in the instructions. I want to reduce the amount of damage to my grass, to my lawn. So I'll do that, and you set it in, and any gaps around the housing you backfill with dirt that you pulled out, and you're good to go. That's it. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you real fast the actual sprinkler in motion, and this is part of the reason why I dug that hole partially there, so I could have that just resting. So you're going to see that this housing here has this quick stop piece. It's a click stop and a stop action piece. It actually has a little green piece. It's hard to see it in there. There you go. So that green piece is actually stopping the water from flowing, despite the fact that I'm pulling this click piece back. That's so that you don't spray yourself with water while you're trying to connect the sprinkler. So I'm going to go ahead and slip it down here onto the quick stop, and you'll see the sprinkler pop into action. It's just my hands are a little wet, obviously, from before. And I forgot I turned off my water, actually. I forgot about that. So we're going to go back over. It won't take very long because it's just a quick trip around over to the side of the house. Along the hose, you can see I've been busy with the flowers and everything, getting it ready. It is summertime, so I'm kind of a little bit late on getting stuff planted, but that's what happens when you get yourself injured at the beginning of the year and can't do anything for several months. So, but it's not too late, as long as I get it done before the summer ends, before the fall comes around, I think I'm good. So I'm going to go ahead and I just hand tightened this piece onto the hose, so it's got a little bit of water coming out the side, but no big deal. Most of the water is going to go through the sprinkler. And this is me with the just barely touching that fitting, and I'm going to push it down, and you can see it kicks on. And you can see if I rotate this around like I had it, it's going to basically, here we're gonna kind of anchor this. If I can, I'm going to anchor it. And I've used my shovel to actually hold it in position, just so that we can get up close here and you can see that it's literally getting right to the edge of those, and we'll come around here and you're going to be able to see that I literally got this like exactly where I want. So you can see it just barely gets to those leaves on the very end. Which is ideal. And for a nice little front view, you can see it's got that diffuser working. It's hitting the screw and deflecting off it on both sides. For a nice little view in here, you can see that set screw there where it's deflecting off. Those four metal wings coming off there, that's what I was talking about earlier, that you use that to control the arc. We're going to go ahead and shut this off now, just so that we don't get my phone wet and lose this video that we're recording. So overall, I'm moderate to moderate high pleased with this product. Like I said, there's a few things that I would change to make it more user friendly. One, obviously, you can't set anything on the product in terms of its watering arc or its distance that it's traveling. You don't even know which direction it's going to start shooting water, to be honest, when you first plug it in, because the housing is spring loaded pretty strongly. It's got strong spring in there to keep it pulled back down when the water's off. I wish they had provided like a little access point where you could use like a screwdriver or something to lift it up or something along those lines. That would have been really, really handy, because then, or like, even something like along the side of the housing to just slide that up and lock it in place, like to have a little thing to flip over to lock that in the upright position while you calibrate it, would have been immensely helpful. Granted, I get that, working with engineers in the past, they've told me even what seems like minor modifications can be very costly, but in their next version of their products, I think they should definitely do that, because if they're already making the investment, you might as well do it. It'll make a lot of people a lot happier, and you only have to do it once, when you're setting it up. You don't have to keep recalibrating, because that set screw, I mean, it's tight on there. It does not wiggle around easily, and that metal spring that controls the arc also very firmly in there. It does not move. So just something to lift it up, lock it in place so you can calibrate it, and then or an access point to put a screwdriver in and lift it up. Either of those methods would be very, very helpful. Besides that, the rest of the product's solid. So I want to thank you for watching my video review. I don't want to take up all of your time here today. I want to keep this under 20 minutes, because obviously if you're using this product or thinking about using this product, you're looking at being outside, and I don't do well in the heat, so I don't like staying out here long either. I just want to get it done, have my plants grow, and enjoy them. I don't want to be sitting outside fiddling around with the sprinklers all day. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe, everyone. And thank you for watching my video review. Also check out my other video reviews on numerous other products. I've reviewed roughly 200 products already from Home Depot. Various manufacturers, various types of products, fridges, lawnmowers, leaf blowers, all sorts of stuff. So take a look. Let me know what you think. If you want me to add more types of information of some sort, just go ahead and throw a comment on my YouTube review, and I'll be more than happy to include that other type of information. Or if something confuses you and I haven't answered it in my review, by all means go ahead and put the question in that YouTube review, and I'll try to answer it. I've answered a lot of questions for a number of the fridges, in fact. So thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.